Yo, this is me from another life. I just want to tell you guys I'm here to say make sure you like, share, subscribe. You feel me? Y'all see me working hard, putting the work in the content. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you also follow me, twitch.tv/DProfit24. It's up there, but yeah, man, let me know what kind of content you guys want to see. Summons, tips, tricks, guides. When you say you want to see it, I do it, and then I don't see y'all there. I'm just wondering, like, you feel me? Twitch.tv/DProfit24, man. I hope to see you guys in the video. What's going on? Back plugged in again. With your boy the Prophet. Hey, yo, man, we back plugged in again with another tier list video. And today we're gonna be talking about the best technique characters in Bleach Bravely Souls. So yeah, man, about to get into it. This is a very highly anticipated list. So without further ado, we about to get it popping. I hope you guys enjoy the content. Let's get it lit. Trash.
They left a nigga down bad, I had to come up. And hustle from the back down into the sun. I had to switch up, nigga, no, I ain't mad at you. I just had to come up and look at just what that bag could do. I charged into the game, cause I said I won't complain. Ain't been no sunny days, I had to get it out the rain. Look.
And we back plugged in again. Alright, y'all, so let's get into it, man. So today, we're gonna go ahead and start as we normally do in D tier. And just as normal, none of these characters have Frenzy or Flurry. So starting off, the king of the non-Frenzy Flurry characters, you got Manga Byakuya. So this character does have 40 Bruiser Berserker, and he does have Havoc, and he does have Bombardment. So 1,000 Year Blow around 1 Resurrections are in about a month or two. It's crazy because they just skipped Resurrections this month. But anyways, not going to spend too much time on this row. He does have a Rancor killer. So yeah, if he gets resurrected with Havoc, then he would have a very similar kit to Senju Maru. Actually, exactly similar. So hopefully he gets some SAR, mixed in with that. But yeah, let's go with Little Girl Yachiru. She's a recharge link. Now she's a recharge and normal attack damage link because she does tend herself to be more of a normal attack damage character. Although, she does have a SAR link. But yeah, so once again, not going to spend too much time on this for a Little Girl Yachiru, 40 Bruiser Berserker. She does have confusion on everything with the beam for a strong attack. And those are pretty much her highlights. Double immunities with her, so she's a decent autoer. But like I said, she doesn't have Frenzy or Flurry, so of course. But yeah, moving up to C tier, we're looking at Zomari. Mr. Zoom himself, he does have long stride with triple flash steps, so he's the same speed as your Hikone with long stride, the mind one. And I think that's pretty much it as far as the characters with long stride and triple flash step. But there's another, let me know. But yeah, and obviously Soy Phone, right? But she has 4 flash steps, so we'll be talking about her a little later. But yeah, so Zomari does have double range collision kit, weakening on everything with no affiliation killer. So the no affiliation killer holds him back more than anything, aside from his first strong attack, and his third isn't even full screen. No bruiser, no berserker, and he's ranged. Then we're going to talk about the Bankai Kisuke, who he has one of the worst first strong attacks in the game. It's that triple range collision attack. And then his second strong attack hits in 3 separate waves, so it's really hard to get maximum damage. He does have a really nice aesthetic, especially with his normal attacks and his third screen strong attack. This Orihime and this Mayuri both have recharge, and they both have human killer, so they're kind of interchangeable in those Senkaimon floors that require tech human killer. The main difference is that Mayuri has paralysis and he's a booster, but Mayuri's kit is really bad and Orihime just has a better kit. So at the end of the day, Mayuri has the same first strong attack as this Kisuke, but yeah, Orihime, she has a lunge first, and her second, it's similar to Kisuke's, hits in like 2 or 3 waves, but it's not considered a vortex, but it kind of is. But yeah, that's those 2 characters. This Unichika does have Frenzy like every other character in his row, but he has Last Ditch with no type of strong attack damage or recharge to kind of make up for that with the Hollow Killer. Then we have the Kugo, like the infamous troll of BBS, 20 strong attack damage. He's not a bad character, to be honest. His first is range collision, but it's one of the better types of range collision, to be honest with you. His second is melee collision, just a distant little ball circular AoE in front of him. And his third is a charge attack. So it's just a standard circle charge attack around his body, which does mean you have to put yourself in the enemy's crosshairs to get the maximum impact of your charge attack. Moving on to this Geen right here. This was the Demon Society Geen. He does have triple flash steps, but he does have his first strong attack is a lunge, but his second is the same as this Kisuke's first. So really holds him back in that regard. And aside from that, of course, third is full screen. But yeah, man, decent character. You know, he could have been a lot better though. Same with this Christmas Retsu. She does have a range collision first and a vortex second and a full screen third. Same with this Shunsui. They both have Soul Reaper Killer. She has burn on everything. He has lacerate. So they're both pretty interchangeable in those regards. With those two characters, pretty solid. No Bruiser Berserker. Pretty cut and dry. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and move on to the Tensa, the Tech Tensa. Like, this actually is a pretty slept on character. He does have a lunging first and a lunging second strong attack. Not a lunge, but it's a, similar to Kugo Ginjo's second strong attack. It's just a 575 AoE in front of him. He just smashes the ground. First is the lunge, of course, and then his third is actually like a lunging full screen, so it does get you a little bit more range. It does hit in two phases, just like Fullbring Ichigo and like, you know, Flyzen, for example. But yeah, so it's still a full screen third strong attack. I feel like he's just a little bit below some of the characters in the S tier, but he don't have no Bruiser Berserker, and you know, his second isn't perfect, and I could see if his first was a beam, but like, nah. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the Demon Society Grimmjow, and he does have a lunging first. His second is a combustion attack that hits in two waves, 625 AoE if I'm not mistaken, and then his third is a straight full screen, no affiliation killer with weakening on everything. Very solid kit. I like his lunge, feels nice. His third pops off pretty quick with a very nice animation. Aside from that, he's a strong attack damage Link with no affiliation killer. Another no affiliation killer, Young Byakuya. The only reason I would put Grimmjow above Young Byakuya, even though he has SAR, is because of the second strong attack. Young Byakuya, his second is a vortex. It takes very long to kill enemies, rather than Grimmjow, who is second just hits in two waves, not like 10. So makes a really massive difference in how quick the damage comes out. A lot of things can happen while the enemy's in the vortex. You know, you're going to be using other strong attacks, which could be safe for other waves of enemies, which is going to slow down your clear time massively. But he's a solid character when it comes down to it. But he does have Havoc, so keep that in mind. We're going to go ahead and move on to this Lisa. She does have SAR, lunging first strong attack. Her second strong attack is pretty bad. It does lend itself to be more of a boss killer type of move. Very short AoE, like 350 radius. It is range collision, so you do have to get right up on the boss and just use her second strong attack right next to him. It'll absolutely rip them for massive amounts of damage. Other than that, kind of underwhelming character, especially due to that second strong attack. Then we're going to go ahead and move on to Tesla. He is a strong attack damage character with the Soul Reaper Killer. He does have a shield move for a second strong attack, lunging first strong attack, and a full screen third. Like I said, 20 strong attack damage. Link, if he was SAR, he would definitely see himself up maybe another tier. But being strong attack damage these days when characters are getting Berserker with SAR, I'm going to go ahead and move Dark Rukia to about up here. That was a slight oversight with her being in the back of the list as far as the A tier. She does have a lunging first strong attack that hits in two separate phases, so the damage is elongated. But her second strong attack is a 725 beam, and it does have weakening on everything. Her third is a charge attack, just like this Grimmjow. And like I said, she has weakening on everything with Soul Reaper Killer, and she does have SAR. So like I said, you know, that's going to put her about right here. Her between first strong attacks, Tensa's is a lot better. She has a better second strong attack. The third can go either way, but she does have weakening. The main reason that she's considered to be such a low tier character, how her first strong attack pops off, it's very, very slow. And it seems almost like a ranged collision lunge, but there's no such thing. It's because it hits in different waves, so the damage technically is collision based. So yeah, but her second strong attack pretty much wins her the battle. She has the best second strong attack by far on this list, second only to Tensa, and then her first strong attack isn't quite so bad. We're gonna go ahead and move over to the auto slash epic raid slash guild quest assist tier. And with this particular tier, it's not about who can clear the fastest or who's the best in general. It's about how much damage they do as an autoing character. So guild quest support, that character is just going to auto. Essentially, you're not playing with them, they're just autoing. So flurry, poise, DR, and a PvE killer are going to get you really higher because you're going to get massive magnifications on damage. When flurry is a huge magnification on damage, if you have flurry in the PvE killer, you're going to do way more damage than a flurry character without killer. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our next character. The best character in the auto slash epic raid tier is going to be Kukaku Shiba. And essentially, she's a very solid character. One of the better auto characters in the game without guard break, that is. Her kit, she does have a lunging first strong attack and an 800 rated second strong attack with a full screen third. Burn on everything with 20 bruiser and 30 berserker. So she does have a very solid kit. Burn on everything, DR, and poise. 3 flash steps. I mean, I know it's autoing, but when you're manualing her, she does have 3 flash steps. That helps in like epic raids. Helps a lot in epic raids, actually. But yeah, so that's pretty much the mainstay about this character. She also does have long reach, 20%, which is really good. But yeah, that's pretty much the main caveats about the character. All in all, very, very solid. No guard break. But with the wrong card killer, you don't necessarily need guard break. But guard break transcends flurry characters. So if you are a flurry character and you do have guard break, you're now a transcending character. Now you're in the debate of, damn, this character can pretty much clear every content in the game. What are they not good at? You feel me? In the yard of like Tokinada and the Numasaki and Grimmjow and Kisuke, all those type of characters, Oetsu. But that's what you get if you get guard break. And that's pretty much the sad thing about this Kenny. We've never gotten a Kenny with flurry and guard break. Flurry, but not flurry and guard break. So I was hoping this Kenny would be it, but yeah, the sad thing about this Kenny is that basically I feel like Caleb was like, okay, we've given pretty much every Kenny has a lunging first strong attack. They're like, all right, well now let's do a beam. Well, a lot of Kennies have vortexes, but let's make this one a plant vortex, not a crawling vortex, a surrounding vortex. Like, you know, so like I feel like he just fell victim to, all right, we've done every kind of thing we can do with the Kenny. Let's just do stuff we haven't done. And that was it, you know. If he would have got guard break, he would be one of the best characters, and everybody would love using him. So, but yeah, man, he does have crazy magnifications, 40 bruiser and 50 berserker. So very solid as that comes. Paralysis reduction. So, you know, very, very solid with that in that regard with autoing. But beam first strong attacks with auto units are horrible. It's too narrow. Rather than a lunge that's going to just cover people around you, you got to try and, like, the AI is not aiming. So there's just way more enemies that aren't guarded versus you having a lunge that's just going to break the guard of everyone in your wave. You feel me? So that's why a beam is worse for a NAD unit than a lunge. Moving on to Hiyori, she does have a similar kit, mainly the second strong attack, but she does have weakened defense with flurry and a hollow killer. Excuse me. So very solid character overall. Normal attack damage link. She does have poise and all that too. So there you go. Askin, he does not have a PvE killer. He has a PvP killer being Zero Squad. He does have the debuff ability, which only works on the top waves of enemies, so it's good for PvP or for like epic raids. But for stuff like guild quest, if you debuff, you know, it's only going to work on one wave no matter what. So it's kind of hit or miss whether you want to save it or use it and wait for the cooldown. It just depends. But yeah, at the end of the day, Askin's a pretty solid character. Very similar kit well, he has a beam for a strong attack, and when you have the beam for a strong attack, you can at least snatch soul bombs, but it's not good for manualing or standard PvE content. They're gonna move on to Yamamoto. Like, Transcendence has his character resurrected in PvP. Like with dupes, he's a tank, but DR, burn on everything, flurry, no bruiser, captain killer. That's pretty much it. We all understand about this character, right? Same stuff. Kit doesn't really matter. He's a flurry character, PvP killer. You know, put him in stuff, he's gonna auto it. He's not gonna have a killer, but he's gonna get it done as long as it's tech. Alright? Same with this True Shiga Ichigo, except range characters without guard break suffer the most because there are way more, about twice the number of range guard than melee guard. So, you know, he's just going to be sitting there chink, 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 chink. Even though he does an insane amount of damage, if they're guarding you, then you can't do consistent damage. And even worse than a beam for a strong attack to break guard is range collision. Like, sometimes your strong attack might only hit a mob one time. You know what I'm saying? So you might have to hit him with 2 first strong attacks. That's just horrible. Like, literally, bro, back in the days when this game first started, your first strong attacks only, like, your strong attacks only had 1 hit. So you literally had to use 2 strong attacks to break the guard of 1 enemy. That's why back in the day there weren't very many enemies with guard, because there would be like maybe 2 per mob group or like 2 per room at all. Now they're just guarded enemies every damn where, right? But yeah, so moving on to the Dead Society Ichigo, who does have an Arankar killer, but his NAD is absolutely atrocious. The worst type of NAD you can have, and the fact that he's a flurry character means that it hurts him even more. To top it off, his first is range collision, and his second is a melee oriented move. So he can barely ever break guard. It is just a nightmare and a chore to have to auto with this character because he just can't break guard, okay? It's a problem. He is a solid guild quest support for range Arankar Killer Week, but then he's like knocking enemies all over with the damn range collision. He's messing up your strong attack placement, knocking people out the AoE of your nuke. So like, it's just a lot of hit and miss with this character. And like I said, man, this is the first season of Ichigo we've gotten in a long ass time, and they just did him so dirtball. It's not even funny. Alright, now we're to S tier. Some tough decisions got to be made, but at the end of the day, that's how it goes. You feel me? Fullbring Ichigo, I do believe, is the strongest in S tier right now. He does have Bruiser Berserkers of today's date. The only thing he's missing is Havoc. And I know that this Kaien does have Havoc and a charged third strong attack, which is 1080 radius, which is more than Ichigo's by 80 radius after his charge with twice the damage. But that's a caveat. You have to charge it, and if you don't, Ichigo's first is going to have way more AoE. So that's pretty big. Comparing to first strong attacks, Kaien has the same first, except he has Havoc. So Kaien wins the first strong attack battle, but the second strong attack is where it starts to get like way up here, because Ichigo also has a 40 Bruiser Berserker, since he's, you know, he does have 40 Bruiser in 40 Berserker in his kit. Excuse me, he has 40 Berserker and 40 Bruiser. He originally already had 40 Bruiser, but with his kit, he has 20% strong attack damage as his strong attack. So 20 Berserker and an extra 20 SAD, which gives him 40 Berserker. So just so you guys understand that. And then he does have 10% strong attack damage. So yeah, I do believe that he is the best character in S tier. Next to him is Cayenne. Like I said, the second strong tech battle with 4 Bring Ichigo is a mountain over Cayenne's second strong tech. 725 beam over a range collision. Well, his is he has Havoc, so he has the enhanced one, which is still less than 500 AoE. Yeah, even with Havoc, his second strong attack is less than 500 AoE around him. So that's really, really bad. But like I said, it does lend itself to be a boss killer move, meaning if you can get right up on the enemy, it's going to nuke them for damage. So in co-op and things like epic raids or guild quests, it's a very strong attack, similar to the Heart Uryu, how his third strong attack is a charge attack, but it's range collision. And if you get close to the boss, you can absolutely rip his HP. But yeah, so moving on to the tag team Toshiro. The only reason he's not a bit higher is because he doesn't have SAR. He don't have strong attack recharge, but he does have one of the best second strong attacks in the game. Actually, his second strong attack is it's the only person that has it is the Mind Shinji, but Mind Shinji has Havoc, and his is 1080 radius. So essentially, it's like the upgraded version of the 725 beam. It is 3K linked as well. So it's a very, very powerful second strong attack. And his first is a lunge. His third is very similar to 5th anniversary Byakuya, except it's not distant in front of him. So it's basically a suction and then a full screen blast. So a full screen suction and then a 675 blast. That's essentially how it goes. But it is a full screen third strong attack at the end of the day, and he just have one of the best second strong attacks in the game with double killer, freeze on everything, and his killers being Soul Reaper and Arrancar, the two best killers in the game. Don't sleep on this character, period, point blank. I know a lot of people were like, oh, Flyzen should be higher. You can never place Flyzen high enough, bro. I'm not gonna lie. He's outdated. Like, he still has the best lunge in the game, but a 575 AoE second strong attack that comes back every 20 seconds on max cooldown, no status elements, no resistances or anything like that to make him, you know, good at autoing, and he even is still in the mindset to waste a second strong attack because it's a boost, and the AI just orients a boost strong attack as a boost and not a strong attack. So if you don't have something like the 960 boost like they have nowadays, literally the AI will just boost when there's no enemies around, and it just wastes your strong attack, meaning you got to rely on your first even more to break guard. Moving on to the Sun. She was a pretty solid character. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the only reason that she's above characters that have guard break is because she has a better first strong attack. Like, I'm sorry, okay? She's gonna clear content faster than this Uryu. Like, I'm sorry, she's a 725 beam first strong attack. It's the best first strong attack in the game without Havoc. And her second is range collision, but it hits massively hard. And it's not like, it doesn't push the enemies back straight through. It does its damage, hits maximum times, and passes through the enemies. So after 2 hits, it's capped out. And that's not, you know, it's one of the better bits of range collision. And then her third is the exact same as 5th anniversary Byakuya, but no Havoc. So 1080 radius distant in front of him and 2 a combustion attack. So Hollow Killer with SAR, very solid character. I'm not going to hold no punches just because a character might be better in some regards. Like, yes, this Uryu does have guard break, 40 Bruiser, Berserker, and Havoc, but he's the king of range collision. Like, his gameplay takes so long. It really does. He's going to send enemies back. I mean, I'm talking about he's sending enemies back to the prehistoric ages. Like, I've literally seen his first strong attack take an enemy clear off screen. Now I gotta chase this enemy. By the time you chase this enemy, your first strong attack is gonna be back charged again. How is that faster? I don't care if you got 40 Bruiser Berserker. Like, sometimes it does kill. Like sometimes it'll kill like the chunkier mobs. But you might kill one and put one at 20% HP. But then you got something that you only took 20% of their HP. Having guard break does make his damage way more consistent because he has range collision in all of his kit, aside of his third strong attack. But he is a solid character. He has the element reversal, and Havoc with 40 Bruiser Berserker. So a solid character with 60 Devastation as well. So he's solid at autoing. You know, he's fun. He can be fun for sure. It's a certain play style, a little bit niche. But yeah, man, a solid character overall. Next, we're going to talk about the technique, Fierce Battle Aizen. And I know some people might be like, like, bro, how is Nini so low? She has crazy magnifications and she has double killer. Yeah, but when she's clearing content, she's usable in more content because she has double killer and she has 100% range resistance. So she's useful in about 3 times more content. But she still has a range collision first, and her second strong attack has a 20-second max cooldown, right? So yeah, she has a third with Havoc, and her first strong attack is the best type of range collision I have seen. It truly is the best type of range collision I've seen. But at the end of the day, she is still a frenzy character that's range and has a range collision first. So she has to rely on that strong attack to guard break enemies. Otherwise, she just pew, tink, 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 tink. That's all you're hearing from her when she's autoing. It takes a very long time. Even though she hits hard, she can kill very consistently with her first strong attack. Like I said, it's the best type of range collision I've ever seen. It can actually hit for more damage than your average first strong attack. But as soon as that projectile passes through you, there's no damage. So there's a lot of maps where one set of mobs is in front and the next is like, you know, beside or on the side or in front of where the other one was. So you're going to miss that damage versus if you had a beam, you could literally kill 2 enemies and damage the third row. So you could damage 2 waves of enemies and then damage the third row with a beam for a strong attack, especially if it had the same, you know, Havoc and all the stuff that she had. So at the end of the day, man, she's not going to clear faster than some of these other units. Yes, she's more useful in stuff like Extreme Co-op and Guild Quest. But if she had a barrier and a boost, she would definitely be above Sun. I can tell you that for sure. But just the barrier, I'm sorry, Nini. I can't be biased. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and look at our best technique characters. So the best character, of course, man, you guys already know it's going to be Ginzuru. I know it's a bit of debate between Ginzuru and the Fierce Battle Grimmjow. Neither of them have Havoc. You got Fierce Battle Grimmjow who has a better first strong attack, but then Ginzuru who has a better second strong attack, right? Of course, the third strong attack is going to be a full screen, pretty much even itself out. And Ginzuru does hit harder. You know, he has 20% extra Berserker with a 25% full stamina damage link. So while he's at full stamina, he is going to massively rip through content. On top of that, he does pass 20% strong attack damage to any Aran card that's technique in his party. So really, people like Kent Farron, World Stark, and maybe if we're going to use that Miller Rose or Kent Farron, World Halabel as well, those would be like the main candidates for him to get boosted. The main reason that Ginzuru is above Grimmjow, in my personal opinion, is because Ginzuru is more versatile. He has the most useful killer in the game, which is Soul Reaper killer, and in Hollow, there are Hollows in 75% of the events, because how it goes is they don't always combine Soul Reaper and Arankar. So most time it's going to be Hollow and Arankar or Soul Reaper and Arankar. So most weeks Ginzuru will have a double killer, and that's going to magnify his already crazy damage. The fact that he does have guard break as well, this Grim don't have guard break. So at the end of the day, he does have more raw damage, but he doesn't have the killer, and Ginzuru has a better kit and guard break. I would definitely say the battle of the first strong attacks is pretty much more important than the battle of the second strong attacks. It really is, to be honest. Having a 725 beam first is the best that you can have in slot. There's just no argument about that. Same with the 800 radius second strong attack. So between these two, there's a lot of heavyweight blows being thrown. Grimjow is going to hit about 45% harder, but given that Ginzu is going to have double killer and he never gives up any damage with guard break, I'm going to put Ginzu over top. On top of that, he has debilitating status elements with the dual mechanic, which does help keep him protected. And that's very important. If you're autoing with this character, he's going to auto pretty much any single tech content because he has guard break and that ally assisting him, making him very, very strong in autoing and standard content. Alright, now this is where like punches are just being thrown. You feel me? Like PLA Soyphone, her place in the hierarchy has been up and down. You know, she went from being the queen to getting kind of replaced, and then Transcendence comes out and she's back on top. And now you have absurd shit like Grimjow's innate 85 Berserker plus with full stamina damage. So yeah, but when it comes to clearing content fast, no one beats her, especially if you add some Transcendence. I'm talking about just 2 dupes of her, level 10 SP, level 10 focus, and she is a god carry of speed. There's no one that does it faster in the game. She's 4 times faster than any standard character in the game, and she has a very good kit. And she's 14 stars, so that just gives her an advantage there. Burn on everything, so any damage that she doesn't do right out, she's going to do it in those ticks. Same with her soul bomb. So yeah, man, long stride. It makes this character so absurdly broken. And, you know, now there are people that can boost strong tech damage. So, you know, when she's in a party with them, she's going to hit that much damn harder. We're going to move on to our other advocate for the best tech Arankar killer, which would be the Kent Pharaoh World Stark. I would really say maybe if he had a 725, which would be 870 beam, I could put him over Sword. There'd be pretty much no equating that, right? But his first is limited. It's not like that God 3000 link beam, and it's not as wide either. So it does require a lot more placement, and you do need to play him like a true range character, meaning kind of keep your distance so they're in the cone of his blast radius, right? 960 radius second strong attack, the best second strong attack in the game, bar none. Like I said, when it comes to kit, Stark he has a significantly better kit than Soyphone. Like, let's be clear. When it comes to clearing, she's still faster. Like, if he had this kit with Berserker or Guard Break, he'll be over her. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's pretty much nip and tuck between the two. Like, I ain't gonna lie, it looks kind of cool with Stark right there. But when it comes to clearing speed, bro, there's no equal to her. So let's just keep it a buck. You dig me? This Bankai Yamamoto, I know a lot of people may be disappointed with his placement. Maybe, I don't know. But at the end of the day, man, having a PvE killer is massive. It is the most massive damage boost this game actually has to offer, aside from bare attribute boost. But normally, attribute or killer will be boosted, and if there's both, that's massive damage. So if attribute and killer are boosted but you don't have a killer, yeah, but if someone does have killer and attribute, they're going to stomp you in clear time. So when it's all said and done, I love what they tried to do with him, making a new type of god kit, double lunge kit, and he has a 870 AoE lunge. So I feel like if he would have had a beam first strong attack with this 870 lunge, that would be the new God Kit, right? And it's funny because Bankai Yamamoto actually started God Kit, the speed version. So it would actually be really cool if the new Yamamoto started a new trend. But he does get that extra damage to burn the enemies, but he doesn't have anything like guard break to make up for any loss of damage of killer. He does have the extra damage to burning enemies, and every 3 to 5 seconds he will burn one enemy on the stage. It isn't guaranteed, but the regularity that I see it proc, so you're going to get extra damage, and it can proc without you having to do anything. So for instance, if you're as the boss gets closer to you, they just walk up, they'll burn. It could be any of them, right? But let's say you're trying to do a soul bomb test and like the boss catches fire and then you bomb them, you're going to get the extra damage. So it is RNG, so you can get 20% extra damage additionally on top of without having to use a strong attack. So keep that in mind. Moving on to the tech Rukia, a very solid character. She does have a God kit without Havoc, so the best possible first, second, and third strong attack in the game. A full screen third over, distant 970 is pretty debatable, but there's no argument that a full screen third is simply God tier. So yeah, best first strong attack possible without Havoc, 20 Bruiser Berserker, freeze on everything, hollow killer, very, very solid. She actually had the same kit as this Rangiku, but Rangiku does not have a PvE killer. And at the end of the day, that's kind of where Rangiku slipped, but if Rangiku had a better killer, it would be easy to have them interchangeable. Next, we're going to talk about the #1 Zanpakuto creator. Once again, some people might argue with his place because he's a flurry character with Soul Reaper Killer and Guard Break, so he can be pretty much used anywhere. But he is a technique character, meaning you can't use him for power stuff because he'll get absolutely shredded. He doesn't have anything to mitigate damage like DR or poise, so at the end of the day, he's going to get staggered if his second strong attack isn't surrounding him. Other than that, very, very amazing God tier carry. He is actually transcendent. That's why he's not in the auto/epic raid character, because he is a transcendent flurry character. One of the best characters in the game. There's absolutely no exception about it. Any character with flurry and guard break has so many varieties of content that they can use. If he had something like Marauder, right, which would let him bypass melee resistance, that make him even more useful. But as it stands, he's pretty much the best iteration of himself he can be. Aside from having something like poise or damage reduction built into his kit. Other than that, this is a God tier character and a crowd favorite for sure. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and talk about the Christmas Rangiku Matsumoto. As I said, she does have a God kit without having Havoc. So she has a beam first strong attack, 800 radius second strong attack, and a full screen third. Like I said, her killer really holds her back, having a spotter killer. The thing that saves her a bit is having weakened defense, but not having an applicable killer in most places is really, really bad. Unfortunately, does lose her out on a bunch of damage. She does have Bruiser Berserker though, so at the end of the day, comparing her to some other characters like in this tier, she's still going to be very good. And she does have SAR with the better kit than 90% of the characters in this game, excluding any character with the same kit plus Havoc, right? She does have extra damage to paralyze enemies, so that's going to get her that extra damage that she lacks when she doesn't have killer, which will pretty much be never except for in the boss room of any Arankar killer mission. But yeah, I know some people might be like, but D, like what? Halibel is so great. She has Havoc and boost barrier. How can she be lower? Bro, Halibel has one of the worst types of lunges possible. And it hurts me to say this, but she literally has basically a range collision lunge where she glip, and people used to say her first strong attack is slow, and I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that it's slow. It's still a lunge. Like, whoop you. They weren't talking about the execution of her first, which actually is kind of slow. They were talking about the damage, because the full strong attack has to hit them, meaning all 3 waves until she get max damage. So she can't just clean up 2 waves with her first strong attack. Even though she has 40 Bruiser Berserker and Havoc, her first still can't clear multiple waves because of how the damage is. So keep that in mind, that she does have a 1200 radius full screen third strong attack, 40 Bruiser Berserker, 60 devastation. Very, very great character, and she is a boost and a shield character. So she does have a lot of innate things that she can offer to the party. But when it comes down to just her straight up kit, her second strong attack has a 20-second cooldown on max, and her first strong attack isn't really the best for consistent damage. So where is her damage? She's going to be using normal attack a lot, way more often than any frenzy character that you actually want to use. You see what I'm saying? That's why Rangiku with the 800 radius second strong attack with the standard cooldown is still going to be able to do more work than Can't Pharaoh or Halibel. Alright. The only God tier character of tech has finally arrived. Yeah, this Nemu is the only God tier character for tech. unless you want to throw Oetsu in there. And I'm not, this isn't like my final ranking. I'm not saying Oetsu is better than any of these other characters, but in some regard he is. But I'll just keep this like this for right now. Her kit is essentially like a combination of Lille Baro and Fugetsu, because she had the beam first strong attack, the 960 second, and then her third is the same as Fugetsu, where it's distant AoE. So very, very powerful, and if you charge it up, it's double the damage. To top this off, she had the Team Party Technique Soul Reaper 20% boost skill, and this is a final damage magnifier. So this is amplified to your final damage number, meaning it's more significant than just having Berserker. And it's not conditional, meaning it's not full stamina damage, which full stamina damage adds on to your final tally as well, but it's conditional. This is unconditional, passing 20% strong attack damage to your final build, to your final damage. So that is the best skill in the game for enhanced damage to keep everything in the parameters, meaning 20 Bruiser Berserker if they have a status element, 40 Bruiser Berserker if not, and then higher in special cases like Fugetsu, 5th Anniversary Byakuya, Noel, characters like that. So yeah, man, this has been your tech best character tier list for PvE only. I hope you guys really enjoyed, and if you like Oetsu at the top, then so be it. You dig me? But I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, Prophet Nation, I do love y'all, but I'm out.
Tell myself I'll make a way. All them people done doubted me.